Well, I mentioned I was at a conference in Tennessee about a month ago for Christian filmmakers and did a panel on the life issue. And one of the folks that I was on the panel with joins us now. Laura Klassen is here from Choice for Two. And we introduced our audience to a couple of this group's incredible but gut-wrenching videos that I saw on our panel. And the reaction, Laura, that we got from our audience was just, they just were amazed by the work that you guys were doing at your group. So welcome to the show. Tell us really quick about your group and ultimately what it is you're trying to achieve.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, and it's great to see you again. So our group is an anti-abortion organization based out of Canada, but with a worldwide presence. Thank you to the internet. And specifically, what we're talking about today is our Exposed series, which is a series of animated shorts. And at the conference that we were both at, we showed episode 1, which is called The Procedure, which stars Kevin Sorbo and shows a second trimester abortion. Now, people know second trimester abortions are happening, but I don't think they actually know what that means and what actually happens to the fetus. So that was the first episode. Second episode is called Build a Baby, and that is about IVF. And a lot of people don't realize how abortion and IVF are connected, and they don't realize that IVF, in vitro fertilization, actually kills many more human beings than it helps to create. And so now we are on to episode 3, which is called It's Okay. And yeah, I'm not sure if you want to show it or talk about it first.
So I've not seen this. Aaron and Todd have seen it on purpose. I chose not to watch it so that at least one person on our set here would watch it with the audience in real time to kind of maybe help channel what their reaction is to what we are about to see. All right, this is episode 3, titled It's Okay.
That's me. I'm Ellie. Don't feel bad. It's okay. It was a long time ago. 1962. I just thought maybe you don't know about me. My parents didn't want me anyway. The doctors worked with scientists, and they took my organs out as soon as I was aborted. It had to be done right away because the organs need to be fresh. It's okay. It wasn't just me. There were 32 of us. They sent our organs to the United States for the experiment. It was my lungs they ended up using. Fetal cell line WI38. 38 because that's how much experiments they did on us. Fetal cell lines are used for all kinds of things, like vaccines. Mine was used to make MMR. You probably gave that one to your baby. I was one of the first fetal cell lines, but there's lots more from lots more babies. It's okay. I just thought maybe you haven't heard of us.
Hello, I'm David. I was killed a few years after Ellie. It's okay. The doctor said my mom had psychiatric reasons to not want me. My lung made MRC5. 5 because it took 5 babies. Perhaps you had my shots? Rabies, polio, chickenpox.
Heck, 293 came from me. I'm Joanna. Did you hear about me? They used my cell line just now for the COVID vaccines. Heck, human embryonic kidney. But I wasn't an embryo. I was 3 months gestation. It's okay. No one knows how many babies it took for heck 293. But there was 293 experiments. So it was a lot of babies. And no pain medication. that would ruin the cells. It's okay. I'm Jordan. They use my cell line to help with the COVID vaccines as well. Percy 6. They took my eyes. It's okay. I'm Bo. In 2015, China tried something new for me and 8 other babies. It's called water bag abortion. To keep us alive as long as possible so the organs will be fresh. My lung made the Wolvax 2 cell line. I'm not gonna be the last one though. There's going to be more after me. And me. And me. And me. And me. It's okay. It's okay. We just thought you ought to know.
Experiments were being performed on near-term alive aborted babies who were not even afforded the mercy of anesthetic as they writhed and cried in agony. And when their usefulness had expired, they were executed and discarded as garbage.
It's okay.
Laura, I'm going to let you take it from here. I'm not even really sure what to say after watching that, so the floor is yours.
Okay, so obviously this video is about fetal cell lines, and I had never even heard of fetal cell lines until COVID. And, that's when it came out that some of the COVID vaccines had used some of the cell lines, specifically HEC293 and PER-C6, to create or test the COVID vaccines. So I started looking into, what are fetal cell lines, and quickly found out that they're used not just for COVID vaccines, but for almost all vaccines. So all of the childhood, vaccine schedule vaccines, they're all connected to these fetal cell lines. And so I started telling people what I was finding out, and everyone would always justify this whole thing to me, saying, no, but it's okay because it was just one baby in the 60s, which is a lie. They'd say, it's okay because that baby was going to be aborted anyway, and doctors just came and took the tissue after the fact and used that, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's a lie. And they said, it's okay, this isn't still happening today. And that is a lie. As you can see in the last fetal cell line that we listed there, the Wolvax 2 was created in 2015, and the research is ongoing. So we created a whole page of sources. I've included links on where you can buy these fetal cell lines, and right on those pages, it'll tell you WI38 came from a female, from Sweden, Caucasian, it's all there. So I put everything together because I know people are gonna first of all say, this is not true. And second of all, they're gonna still try and say, oh, it's okay because. So that's why I know I said it for them. And I said it through, the children's voices that represent the actual human beings who were harvested alive for this.
Ultimately, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the conclusion you guys want people to draw is that this just, as a practice, has to be abolished. Like it just can't. It just, the regulation of this, and if you wear white after Labor Day and it's Thursday at 3 a.m. and you're able to say the names of the states and capitals in alphabetical order, you can kill your kid kind of bills that we've done for many, many years in the West are not sufficient. That this is a level of barbarism that just requires complete abolishing. Is that the read that I'm getting from the result of what you guys are trying to convey about the realities of how barbaric this all is?
Right. And this element of child sacrifice is so embedded in our culture. And the interesting thing is, the first vaccines, when they first started them out with them, one of the first polio vaccines used animal cell lines. And then they quickly realized that it's a lot easier to work with human tissue. And you want that human tissue to be as young as possible. And so that's why they moved on to using fetuses. And there are so many lies told even within the medical community. Like, even look at the name of one of the cell lines, HEC293, which stands for human embryonic kidney. That child was 3 months old. She was not an embryo, which, that still would have been bad. These are fetuses. So there's just a lot of sneakiness with the language used. There's a lot of lies. And something else I'd like to point out, because I've heard this a lot myself, is that the cell lines are immortal. So the first one I mentioned, WI38, and the second one, MRC5, they are not immortal. They are running out. This is why Wallvax 2 was created in 2015. This is known fact. Now, HEC293 and PER-C6, also we talked about those in the video, these are called immortal cell lines. The idea being, yes, okay, they are going to be around a really long time because they have so much material to work with, and they're able to take a tiny bit of that and double, like it doubles itself. And so they're able to create so much more. So yeah, we've got this for a long time. The thing is, HEC293 is not perfect. Scientists know this. So now we've created a market where scientists are trying to make a perfect fetal cell line. An article has come out today from the Center for Bioethical Reform in the UK, just excellent timing, and their article addresses exactly this. Are fetal cell lines immortal, and will babies continue to be aborted and harvested for them? And so I'm going to have that linked on the page as well. And the short answer is yes, this research is ongoing despite what we've been told. There are links and there are names talking about, a fetal cell line Japan is coming up with that. Well, that happened in 2012. All kinds. This is a worldwide effort. People don't know. And we have created a market to harvest children alive for our vaccines.
Laura, give out your group's website one more time. People can go and watch this video there, share it as well, learn more about what you guys do.
Great, thank you. At choice42.com. It looks choice42.com.
Gut-wrenching and outstanding work again. All right, thank you guys for what you're doing, and hopefully you keep growing and keep getting the word out about the outstanding work you guys are doing, and it convicts a lot of people. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for having me on.
You bet. So you've heard the stat, guys, that there's only 6 nations on Earth that permit abortion after 20 weeks, and we're one of them. One of the other nations is China. Okay. Would you guys like to know who are the top 2 nations in terms of medical research spending in the world? Can you guess which 2 nations those are? Us and China. Yeah. And one reason why you'd want to keep late-term abortions, for just one example, going is the later in development the child is, okay, the more valuable that child's physiology would be to the kinds of research that Laura is talking about, just to connect another dot there as well. But you guys' thoughts watching that video now for a second time?
Well, big abortion and big pharma are the same thing. This is what you have to understand. And I know it's hard to understand because even when Steve and I and Rebecca, so we're going back before Aaron's time, we're sitting in the studio and frozen bags of body parts came out. We all looked at each other and thought this might be the moment where we break through this thing, an abortion. And the exact opposite was true because that was the business model. They weren't going to set that down. There's too much money. Where'd you heard that before? There's just too much money. Well, that's why these things are linked together. And they're going to run with that as long as they possibly can. Never doubt that for a second.
If that video doesn't crush you, I don't know what to tell you. It did me. I shed a tear as I watched it the first time. I don't mind telling you that. Because when you are confronted, you have your nose shoved in it like a dog has its nose shoved in something that it made, it's responsible for. There is a sense of abject sorrow first that should lead to some form of shame that we let this go on under our watch. But then that should lead you to a third step, which is action. We don't just wallow. We just don't circle the drain. Where would we yet be struck? We have examples. We have signs. Never doubt the justness of a God. Never doubt the justness of our God. Never doubt why he created a hell. But we can't just stop there. We have to act ourselves.
Man, we really need Theology Thursday, and it's coming up next.